Everyone, I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. It is July 14th, and today we are under a weather impact alert day due to the threat of strong winds and critical fire danger conditions. About just as hot as it was compared to this last weekend, but because of the addition of the winds and the fire danger being as high as it is, definitely wanted to make sure that that was communicated to everyone here in the inland Northwest. Blue skies over Lake Coeur d'Alene at the moment. Another hot day underway here as our temperatures are going to soar into the 90s again. But it's the addition of these winds that cause that threshold to reach that next level in terms of kind of inclement weather conditions for the region. So we have our weather impact alert day. We're going to follow the red flag warning in this case in terms of the time frame 1 to 11 p.m. for today because of the heightened winds and the heightened fire danger across the region. Of course, make sure to respect any burn bans. That means no campfires or bonfires outside, and do anything you can to mitigate any fire danger to begin with. Though realize that among the active fires that are already present, those will start to burn a bit more aggressively in the windy conditions that will be present through the day. So the wind is absolutely the priority here. Kind of a complicated looking weather map here, but all the alerts are related to the winds. Some are outright wind advisories in the tan shaded areas, and this in gold, that is a high wind warning. Okanagan County and the valley in particular are going to experience the strongest and most serious wind speeds for today, upwards of 60 miles per hour, in that 50 mile per hour range for the wind advisory. And then elsewhere, while not wind advisory criteria, certainly strong enough winds to prompt red flag warnings at minimum. And that puts us at a gusts in Spokane. So all of this is because of the winds. But again, look at this in Omak, 40 to 60 mile per hour wind speeds. So across northern Washington and far north Idaho, the wind alerts here mean that the wind can be the thing that does the damage here. That means tree branches could snap off, and in the worst case scenario, it could be the power lines and power poles that could also get damaged. If that happens, then we're going to see some serious wildfire concerns in the region, especially for tonight. So that's what we're going to be monitoring, being very cautious for, especially considering how strong those winds will be. Meanwhile, there are a handful of wildfires that are still active across the region. The Clover Fire that's burning along Highway 2 in Boundary County, while a smaller fire could certainly take advantage of the windier conditions for tonight. These are two larger fires in northeastern Washington, the Hope Fire way up in Stevens County, and then there's that Western Pines Fire in Lincoln County. Remember, the winds are going to change to the north here. In fact, the wind streamlines are going to account for that. So if these fires start burning more aggressively, their forward propagation is going to be to the south. Same with any smoke plumes that come out of it. If you're downwind, which would be to the south, you may experience some smoky or hazy conditions as a result of these local fires. So that would also include like Kettle Falls and Colville. While you might not be in the direct range of the fire itself, the smoke may very well be blowing in your direction if the Hope Fire does start to burn more aggressively. So that is all that we watch when it comes to this high fire danger, to red flag warnings in the first place. New fires can spread very quickly. Active fires can become more aggressive. And while it doesn't necessarily mean that new wildfires can start because the wind speeds might be so strong, it is a possibility. So it is actually quite dangerous weather conditions when it comes to the wind for this now mid-July day. Wind gusts 40 miles per hour in the Spokane area and even faster to the north. So that's where our high fire danger does lie. Now to our smoke forecasting here. The computer model does take into consideration the active fires and the speeds and gives us this product here. This is tonight at 9 p.m. Notice that some of the fires, especially across central Washington and British Columbia, are going to be the biggest causes of any kind of smoke or haze outside for today. Already still a little bit hazy even in Spokane as of the noon hour. May very well get worse heading into tonight and tomorrow morning, as that haze is set to linger at least for the next 24 hours here. And again, if these fires burn more aggressively, we likely see even more smoke than this. But it is something that is now on our radar in terms of smoke forecasting. Now to the big picture. Here's the whole reason why we're going to get the wind. This cold front, which is extended across Alberta and British Columbia, is going to start to propagate southward. There is some rain attached to it, but the terrain is helping with that for now. By the time it arrives in Spokane at about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, might very well be out of rainfall, so the wind is a certainty. The rain, not so much. The good news is that the cold front will cool us off by tomorrow, but it doesn't arrive soon enough today to knock down temperatures. So we're still under heat advisories for Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, Ritzville, Moses Lake, even Lewiston and Asotin also under those heat advisories just for one more day, and then those temperatures will cool off. Big time heading into tomorrow. High temperature of 93 today is actually about 4 degrees lower than it was compared to yesterday. So not quite in the hundreds this time around, but still in the 90s, still decently hot outside. Again, the heat, it's uncomfortable, but the wind certainly takes precedent in this type of weather forecast here. And then finally, I'll show you our computer model in terms of precipitation. Not much, but it did look like Boundary County, Bonners Ferry has the best chance for rain. I do think some of the mountains in northern Washington have a chance to wring out or squeeze out a few scattered showers. But by the time that cold front arrives in Spokane, nothing really materializes around our area. So the chances for rain is actually really, really low for tonight. Maybe barely 20%, thinking like 10% or less for Spokane. But around Bonners Ferry and towards Libby, Montana, you're upwards of already 70%, just because the mountains and the terrain is going to help some of those showers get squeezed out by that incoming cold front. So the rain, not really a factor here. It is just primarily the wind that we see tonight. Finally, I'll leave you with this. The temperature change between today in the 90s and then tomorrow in the 70s. And if you're looking for relief at night, Wednesday morning is going to feel the best here when our temperatures get back down into the 50s. That was something we didn't really get last night. Low temperatures even at 70 and above for a handful of locations for the inland Northwest is not very comfortable whatsoever. So the heat is still present today, but the higher winds is going to cause the fire danger to get to dangerous levels for tonight. Those highest wind speeds likely after sunset between 8 p.m. and the midnight hour for tonight. Thus, we have red flag warnings, wind advisories, and even high wind warnings issued across the region due to that heightened fire danger. One last look at those alerts that you see here. Plenty of red flag warnings for that heightened fire danger across the inland Northwest. So do anything you can to avoid starting new wildfires, and make sure to stick with KREM 2 News for the very latest weather information. I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. You can always follow me everywhere on social media and get the latest weather update over at KREM.com. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and stay safe.